What's up there guys, it's Mac, hope you guys are well. This is going to be a very quick video, I don't want to take too long making this one, but yeah, we got a surprise announcement. It's the PlayStation Classic. Yes, Sony have done it. We've heard about this for a while guys. It was pretty much rumored. I'm talking about last year. It's been a while since we've heard about this rumor, but then it literally just went dead. I didn't hear any videos, no announcements on YouTube. No one that I was following on YouTube sort of made a video about it, and then suddenly it came out, and it was just a very surprise announcement. I think it was just yesterday. So this is the Sony PlayStation Classic. It's the original one. Oh, where's my console, by the way? So yes, the PlayStation Classic. They're making a smaller version of this specific one. I believe I think the power button. Yeah, I think it says power and eject rather than the symbols. That's the newer version, and this is a slightly newer revised model, but the classic version has the original buttons, and it also has the original controller as well, so there is no joysticks on the controllers. So that's quite funny, you see, because everyone thinks the PlayStation was known for bringing the joystick, but actually it was Nintendo 64 that did the initial joystick, and then Sony followed as per usual. So they replicated the joystick onto the new DualShock controllers for the PlayStation 1, and they released it with the analog sticks. But yeah, I mean, as we've seen, Nintendo have been doing wonders with the NES Mini and the SNES Mini, the classics of those two generations. They get the sprites, the colors for those specific graphics, and those games were really good. PlayStation is a bit more difficult because obviously it's harder for them to sort of show the difference in to have a very nice sort of graphics for this day and age. Because obviously you gotta remember, this is the first 3D console to have a mini version, sort of made for it. But I'm happy because it means that we can expect maybe a Sega Saturn Mini, an N64 Mini. Definitely, I would love if N64 was to do a mini version, because they will bring out tons of games and they will have a bunch of first-party IPs to sort of put on that console. But with Sony, you gotta remember guys, it was pretty much a third-party powerhouse. So many RPGs. Again, not really a big thing for me because I'm not really a big fan of RPGs. I've always played N64. I had that growing up, so I never was the PlayStation kid. I think the very first PlayStation console I got was either I think it was a PS3 straight away. There wasn't even a PS2. I've obviously played it at the time, and I had people, our family members that also had the console, but I never actually owned it myself until the PS3, and then now obviously I've started picking up the PS2 and the PS1 in recent times. But the games library, guys, there's no Gran Turismo. So it's coming out for $100, which is going to be about probably 70 to 80 pounds in the UK. It's coming out on the 3rd of March 2018. So that's a surprise. It's coming for this Christmas holiday season. It looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks brilliant. It's literally this console, with the exception of the symbols being the actual lettering, and they just basically minimized it. So this is power and open. I think the open one, eject one, basically goes back to the main menu, so you can change the actual game, and the power button obviously does something else. I believe it's the save states and stuff like that. It comes with a HDMI cable, USB adapter, but just a USB cable, but not the actual power adapter, but you can use like a Samsung plug or whatever if you want. It comes with 2 controllers. This is another thing as well. It's really steeply priced, and it's also got 2 controllers. To be honest, I'm not really need for a secondary controller. I'm okay with just one, because I've got so many of those classic controllers lying about. I'm sure you can use, if it's connected via USB or whatever, I'm sure you can use other third-party controllers on this. So it's like there's a lot of controllers, there's a lot of excess stuff, and obviously the games at the moment, not really taking my fancy. I mean, I know Tekken 3, brilliant. Final Fantasy 7, obviously a lot of people love that game. Personally, it's not one of my cup of tea. I've not really played it myself. Jumping Flash, R4 Ridge Racer Type 4, and Wild Arms. That's what you gotta remember, guys. They can't re-release Bad Crash Bandicoot. They just literally had a trilogy for that franchise, and that was something that I remember as being a Sony thing. But obviously Activision owns that license and they can release on whatever console they want, so it doesn't really make sense for them to promote that as a PlayStation thing no more. But that would have been a nostalgia aspect that they would have kept if they had kept it with a Sony console or exclusively. But obviously it's no longer an exclusive, it's on all consoles, all platforms, even Nintendo Switch. So and I've already got that on the Switch as well. We got the Spyro trilogy also coming out on all platforms, so they can't really release those games either because again it's already been done, it's on HD graphics, been remastered, so it's not like, you know, it's like there's a lot of games that are like a lot of third-party games, so it's like how would they even get that? How would they get Alien Trilogy onto this? A few games that I would actually personally like to see on there would be some of the classics that I played growing up, and that one is Time Crisis. Absolutely awesome game. I remember playing this even with light guns back in the day, and it was huge. It was heaps of fun, and I think they can definitely bring that. But again, it's Namco. Unfortunately, Sony doesn't have the luxury of just bringing up sort of games from their own homegrown library or their own individual IPs. Obviously, these are essentially really good third-party games that are on the console. Driver, flipping brilliant game. I absolutely love this game. We played it a lot. I remember the very first scene where you're basically trying to do all the tricks with the car to try and get out of the actual car park. Absolutely brilliant game. Wish they bring that one over. Dar trilogy, yippee-ki-yay. I mean, this was brilliant. A really good trilogy. I don't think they'll bring out the trilogy. They'll probably bring out one of the games possibly, because obviously it's a lot of space. You gotta remember, guys, there's a reason why it's 20 games and not 30 games. It's because the size of the NES and the SNES games are a lot smaller compared to PlayStation games. They're in the gigabytes. So yeah, they're gonna obviously cut back and save money where they can. Obviously joysticks on the controller, taking them away was one cutback. But I would have preferred if they just literally gave one controller, and that would have been a better cutback and dropped the price a little bit more. Grand Theft Auto, guys. This is a brilliant game. This was my very first introduction to Grand Theft Auto. Obviously it's the very first in the series, but I remember playing it at my school friend's house. One of our best mates from school, we were literally just hanging out in his place and we were playing this game. It was fun. A really funny story actually. When I played this heavily at his house, and then one day I came out and I literally just saw a very nice car, and I literally went and got my hand right next to it, about to open it, and I realized, yo, I just came out of the game. And obviously after sort of just hijacking cars all day long in the game, I just thought, nice car, let me just open the door. And I was like, well, then I realized, like, what the hell am I doing? Obviously it's not real, and you can't be doing it in real life. So yeah, that was crazy. That was one of the really first times where I actually felt like the game and the real world sort of merged a little bit for a second for me. Anyway, guys, what was I saying? Yeah, you've also got things like these. A really good mate of mine has told me that these are brilliant games and I need to play them. So I've literally gone and scoured CXs, and I found Oddworld and Oddworld Abe's Exodus. These are the very first two games of the franchise. Apparently this game is brilliant, and obviously I've now got the full set, or the series one, so I've got the part 3 and the one that came out on the Xbox as well. So yeah, looking forward to playing that. But these are obviously, I've known them to be only on PlayStation, so I would say definitely it'd be brilliant if they can bring this to the PlayStation Classic, because it's a really good platformer. I love platformers, and it's meant to be a really good puzzle game, a really good one. So looks really interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it, and it will be good to have that on the Classic console. My main excitement for this console is the fact that what it can actually do, because obviously it means that you can chuck on ROMs onto this, because I'm sure it will be able to be hacked just like every other console, or the classic consoles, because obviously the HDMI out, but it's obviously stored on flash. It's got some internal storage on there, and you will basically be able to flash whatever ROMs you can eventually, I would hope, because the SNES and the NES has been done that easily. You've got the Mega Drive Mini coming out as well. I'm glad that they're pushing that back into 2019, because I want them to really heavily make sure that the quality control is monitored on that, because at the moment it's made by Act Games, and I'm not going to buy it until I've seen reviews, because I've heard of Act Game products and they always seem to be not the authentic, sort of want that sound to be perfect and on point, and Act Games can't do it. So definitely it's always brilliant when the actual manufacturer the original company does it. So Sega are sort of going to be sort of looking into that and helping out where they can. So hopefully it will be a good product. But obviously Nintendo were behind it, Sony are going to be behind this one. You've got so many mini consoles coming out, so it's a good time to be in the retro gaming industry, definitely. But yeah, PlayStation Mini is a really good buy. I think if you could get it at a good deal, I think I'm going to hold off until they get a good deal. I don't know if I'm going to buy it or not, because I don't think the games have aged that well, and there's very less attachment to some of these games, especially because things like the beloved Crash Bandicoot series has now gone on to multi-platforms, and it's beautiful graphics with widescreen, and you can pretty much appreciate it on a newer generation console or on the PlayStation 4 if you want. You've got Spyro that's being moved on, and a lot of these classics have been moved on. Obviously you've got Metal Gear Solid as well, the original one, that's been moved on as well. So it's not like you can't play these in better versions of them. So my main excitement is basically for the possibilities that this now has opened up. This is the very first 32-bit console to be a mini version. Obviously it's Sony's very first one, so they want to sort of promote it as the classic console of theirs. Xbox can't do it because obviously they're still pretty much quite new for the original Xbox. But Sony have been around for a while, and you know, and the fact that they're sort of following in their footsteps, Nintendo's footsteps, and trying to do that, good on them. You know, let them do it. But I just think that their library is not as strong as obviously the first party IPs from Nintendo, and they go back way back. You've got Mario's and stuff like that, and Zelda's. You know, you just can't beat that. It's really hard for them to sort of compete with that sort of nostalgia and the classics library there. But obviously things like bringing over Tekken, you know, you've got the racing game, they should bring over Gran Turismo. Definitely that's something I remember as being a PlayStation thing, definitely, and it's exclusive, so they should bring it over. You know, there's an RPG there, they might bring out more RPGs, you know, who knows. But I'm looking forward to the prospect of getting it flashed and loading up ROMs, because this is the very first officially licensed mini console that's actually an emulator, so you can actually flash onto it perfectly. And because obviously it means that there is no loading time. That was one of the main issues with PlayStation back in the day compared to N64. Loading time, guys, you know, you had to wait so long for every single, I remember Mortal Kombat on this, you had to wait between fights for so long, right? And this N64, it was instant. I mean, instant to a degree, there was a little bit of loading, but it was like pretty much quick, whereas this one you gotta swap this, that, and all of that. You know, it's just nice to have a CD based media now as a sort of emulation box and via HDMI out. It should hopefully help with the quality of the actual output, but definitely good for modern age. But I mean, the market for this is not as big as the classic Nintendo console, so let's see how it does. But I'm interested about picking one up. Maybe it's probably gonna get scalped to the nth degree, so it'll be hard to pick up. I'll probably just wait and see what happens when the second batch comes out. Cheap as the NES and the SNES minis at the moment, because they've been re-released and they're pretty much really cheap at the moment. Anyway guys, that was my quick discussion about the classic PlayStation Classic release announcements. Is coming out on the 3rd of December 2018. It's coming out about $199, so it's gonna be about 70 to 80 pounds here in the UK, and you can yeah, it's coming out this holiday season, so look forward to that, guys. And you can expect 15 more games to be announced as well. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Really appreciate all my subscribers, so thank you very much for that. And until next time, take care guys, this is Mac, peace out.